Hey guys, for today's tutorial Tuesday, I'm going to be showing you how to make monograms in Design Space. I know a lot of people use the Monogram app or whatever app on their phone that is really designed to make background designs for your phone and then upload it into Design Space and clean it up and then try to blow it up. And occasionally when you do that, the quality isn't that great. It gets really pixelated. So today I'm going to show you how to create a swirl monogram and a circle monogram using free fonts that you can download from dafont.com. So first things first, I'm going to go into Dafont and I will come over here and I will type in monogram and hit search. And there are going to be two monograms that we will be looking at closer today. The first one is this monogram KK, which is a very well-known swirly monogram. And the other one is going to be this Monogramus, which is going to be a circle monogram font. Okay, let's backtrack for those of you who have never worked with fonts. If you do want to download one of these fonts, click on download right here. Be careful not to click on any links anywhere else besides this download. Sometimes you will see up here something to download. All of those things are ads, and the ads could potentially not be safe. I've never had an issue downloading anything from actual dafont.com, but you need to be careful that you do actually hit the correct download button. Once you hit download, it will automatically download to your download folder on your computer, at which point you will likely have to unzip the file, which you can do by right-clicking on it and choosing extract if you have a program that can unzip files, which most computers do have nowadays. And then you will double click on the TTF or OTF file, which will give you a preview of the font, and then you can install it. After you have installed it, open up your Design Space, and then I'm going to delete this. And then you will open up a text box and you will type in the monogram in the order that you want it. So our sample name today is going to be Amelia Bell Dunham. And so the monogram for that would be first initial, last name initial, middle name initial. So it would be ADB. As you see, it comes up in this regular font. Well, we're going to go up here where it says fonts, and we're going to hit system fonts, because that's where all of our fonts from Dafont will show up. And we will start off with the monogram KK, which I click on right here, and as you can see, it is going to switch it over to this very nice swirly font. I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see better. Now they're all going to be the same size, and they're not all going to be touching. So we have to work with it just a tiny bit to get it to look the way a monogram would. To do that, we will go up here and we will ungroup, which will make it into individual items. At that point, we can click on this middle D and just make it bigger, and then move it back into the middle. Yeah, that looks good. Now we're just going to move this over. I'm just going to hit the left button on my keyboard until it is barely touching, and I'm going to do the same thing for the A, just with my keyboard moving it slightly over until it is touching. Now I kind of want this to touch a little better down there, so I'm going to go slightly down. Okay, perfect. And then once I have all of this, I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to go ahead and weld it. Okay, and there we have it, our monogram. Now sometimes you might want to put a monogram onto something really tiny like a headband, in which case these really thin lines right here might be an issue. I hope you can see my cursor when I'm moving around. So in that case, we would go to text and we would choose ADB again. And then before we ungroup, because ungrouping will turn this from a text into images, at which point we will not have any of these options anymore. So before we ungroup it, we will go over here where it says regular style, and we will make this bold. And once it is bold, you can see that these tiny lines are now a lot thicker and are going to be a lot easier to cut. Okay, well, now that we have this one done, I will go ahead and hide that, and we will work with our circle monogram, which has its own set of difficulties. So we will go back, typing in ADB, coming back up here, turning this back into regular font, and then in our fonts we will choose the monograms. At which point you will see that it is this weird black background, white letters. Well, that's not quite what we want. So I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to actually, from having all capital letters, I'm going to go to all lowercase letters, which looks a lot better. Okay, next up, if I go ahead and I ungroup it, it is going to just ungroup these portions, which isn't going to help me much. And then if I go down here on the right, we can see that it also doesn't give me the option to contour. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to insert a shape. I always use a square because that's the easiest for me, and I like to make it a little bit skinny. And then I am going to go ahead and make this small to where it only covers those two letters that I don't want. And then I'm actually going to duplicate it because I'm going to want to do the same thing for that side. We need to move this over just a tad. And then I'm going to duplicate it one more time for the middle initial, at which point we need to cover those two. Duplicate again. And now we can see that we will have the A, the D, and the B. Now selecting both of these, just these two, because remember, we're going to use slice. Slicing works like a cookie cutter. You only have one cookie cutter and one dough. You cannot slice more than one cookie cutter on one dough at a time. So I'm going to hit slice, and that's going to be sliced. And now we're going to do the same thing here. Again, making sure we only have two selected, not all of them. If I select all of them, my slice button is going to be grayed out because only one cookie cutter and one dough. I'm going to hit slice again, and then we're going to hit slice again for these other two. And last but not least, for this last one. Okay, now I'm going to delete all the parts that I don't need. And I can do that by just drawing a box around it and selecting them all. And now I just need to move these closer to each other using the arrow keys on my keyboard again. That way it is going to keep it on the same level, and I don't have to worry about accidentally moving it up or down. Let's put them really close. Well, that might be a little too close, so I'm going to have to, by hand, carefully move it. And there we go. Here's our circle monogram. Again, we would attach that. Since it's not touching, we don't have to weld that like we did this one. And there you have it, a simple way to make a curly or circle monogram in Design Space. I hope you have found this helpful, and I will see you again soon.